What if there was a way for you to have financial freedom even if you had no money whatsoever? Would you want to know how to do that? Well, listen, in this video, I'm going to show you how to achieve financial freedom even if you don't have any money, because the reality is, even people that do have a lot of money, they're still not financially free even if they have no bills at all. I'm going to get into that in a second. Now, before I get into that, the one thing that I do want to say, because sometimes titles like this and even like misunderstandings can trigger people and make people feel like, this person is talking down on me or this person is talking about me, whether that's somebody who has millions and billions of dollars feels like somebody's attacking them, or whether somebody has no money whatsoever and feel like somebody is talking down or demeaning their group or where they are in their lives right now. Here's the reality of what I want to tell you. Not that I'm a multi-billionaire or anything like that. However, I can say that I've been on both sides. I've been on the side where I didn't have not just any money, but I was over 6 figures in debt. And I've been on the other side where I've had a surplus of money, And the one thing that I can tell you is that when it comes to financial freedom, is something that I would say 99.9% of people do not understand. Even people that have a lot of money, they teach about financial freedom. So here's what I want you to just think about in your own mind. Let's take the two words, financial and freedom. Financial, when you really think about the definition of that, it's simply like you having the resources to exchange something that's valuable to you. That's really what financial really means. But when you think about freedom, that's something that is really debatable to so many different groups, because people have different definitions of freedom and what they think freedom is. And when you think about freedom, regardless if you have money or if you have no money or whatever else in between, freedom simply comes down to 4 things. Freedom is when you have nothing to prove, nothing to hide, nothing to defend, and nothing to protect. When you think about that, when you think about freedom from that perspective, and you put the two words together, financial freedom is something that most billionaires and most millionaires never have and will never see in their life. Because when you just think about somebody who has nothing to hide, nothing to prove, nothing to defend, and nothing to protect, that's something that most billionaires and millionaires, they can't say. Now, hear me out. I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm not saying that they did something evil or they conned somebody to make their money. I'm not saying that they're using people. I'm not saying anything negative about billionaires and millionaires whatsoever. Just the fact that most of them don't have financial freedom. And the thing about billionaires and millionaires, they're unaware that they don't have financial freedom. People that don't have any money, they are 100% clear that they don't have it. However, that's something that both classes share. Whether somebody is a multi-billionaire, millionaire, or whether somebody is broke, living paycheck to paycheck, they share the same thing. They don't have financial freedom from the perspective of what freedom even is and what finances even is. And I remember about 3 years ago, I was watching this documentary, and it was of this vegan chef, because I choose to eat a vegan diet. And it was interesting to me because this vegan chef, she made millions of dollars just from the sale of her book. She was on a TV show, so she was making millions of dollars from cooking, but they exposed her because they caught her eating meat. And I thought about wow, it's not wrong if you eat meat. It's not wrong if you choose to eat a vegan diet. However, what is wrong, even in your own mind, is when you portray to be something, you make all of this money from it, but you secretly are doing something totally different. And I thought to myself, wow, all the millions that she has from her book deals and TV deals, she's not free. She's not free, and she's not financially free. Because when you think about all of what she's doing to earn money, everything is tied to something that she has a conflict around. So she has no financial freedom in that area. Because even though, she might like the vegan diet and vegan cooking and things like that, she still enjoys meat. So there's a conflict there. And so it's like if she's portraying herself to be this person who's plant-based all the way, but then secretly she's eating meat, that's a conflict of interest with her, and that's not freedom. So you think about on a totally different scenario. I'm not sure if you're into sports, but I watch sports periodically. There are hundreds of coaches, basketball, football, gymnastics, track, you name it, where coaches, they're making millions of dollars from coaching a sport. And people debate whether they should make it or not. I say they deserve it based on all of the background, but that's a whole other video. But I will say this: when you think about how much money that they make, and they're entrusted to protect, guide, and mentor and coach the lives of a lot of these young people, and then you think about all of the politics that's introduced to it, and not all of the best players play and perform, and you don't see them because of all of the politics behind it. And sometimes these coaches, they know in their heart that they're doing something that's compromising their integrity, because they're not playing the best people because of the booster that gave this money, or the parent who's on this board, and their job might be in jeopardy. And so you think about, out of all of the money that they're making from coaching, they are not financially free, because again, go back to nothing to hide, which a lot of coaches have a whole lot to hide, from so many different perspectives, nothing to prove. They have to prove themselves every single game, every single season, because if they don't win, guess what? They get fired. That's not freedom. Nothing to defend. And again, you look at it however you want to look at it, but when you think about even people that win championships, and if they don't win a championship, or at least get close to it, like the fans and like the whole city is putting the weight of what they expect from this coach on the shoulders of a team, because this is their form of entertainment. That's a lot of pressure. That's not financial freedom. No matter if they're making 2 million, 10 million, it does not matter. That is not financial freedom. Because sometimes people don't realize that when you get paid all of this money, there's even triple the expectations that come with it. So even though people can have all of this money, sometimes if they could, they would go back and just trade it all in just to be regular, just to not have those type of expectations placed on them. And then people that don't have money, they're like, look, give it to me. I would love to have those problems. However, financial freedom is still not something that they experience. And even if you think about the person that goes to work every single day, they even work overtime, things look great on the outside, but nobody knows that this person's home is 30 days away from going to foreclosure. Even though they go to work every single day, they don't want people to know that, because they're trying to maintain a reputation, they're trying to maintain a status, or they're just embarrassed. Like, they're embarrassed by it. And sometimes things like that happen, and it's not their fault. Like, they didn't choose for medical bills to pile up, or they didn't choose for a family member to get into some kind of legal trouble, and they're trying to help them out. Now, I know the help is a choice, but they didn't choose for that family member to happen to them. They're loyal to them. They want to help them. So they took resources from one place, put them in another place. And so it's not that they're just being irresponsible. Things happen, and they end up in situations like that. However, when you look at it, that's not financial freedom. So the person who goes to work every single day, working a regular job, and somebody who's making billions of dollars, they both share the exact same thing. They don't have financial freedom. And here's the thing that I really want you to take away from this video. Even if you have no money whatsoever, there is a level of freedom that you have when you really have nothing to hide, nothing to prove, nothing to defend, and nothing to protect. It does not take money to get to that place. However, it's something that is extremely difficult for most people to get to, because we all, to a certain extent, we care what people think about us. I'll be the first one to tell anybody, I care what people think about me. However, not to the degree that it's going to change what I do, because I don't allow people to have that kind of control over me, even though I might care what they think. That is different. However, when it comes to freedom, when you have nothing to hide, nothing to prove, nothing to defend, and nothing to protect, that's when you get to a level of freedom that most people would never aspire to. And then when you layer the finances on top of that, that's when you have financial freedom. And it doesn't take somebody having millions or even billions of dollars to have financial freedom. Somebody can work at a regular 9-to-5 job, making the average of whatever is made in whatever country you live in, and they can have financial freedom, because a part of them is more freer than any type of money that can ever be given to them, and you cannot pay for that. And the thing that I'm learning more and more is that when it comes to financial freedom, and you think about like mental health that is really, really popular, and there's a lot more attention that's given to it, it's because sometimes people carry so much weight and so much pressure that they were not meant to handle, and it just crushes them. Even people that have a lot of money. You think about all of these like countless like Disney stars and like child actors, and I know that's a lot of other stuff that goes into it as well, but when you think about all of the millions and millions of dollars that they've made over the course of their lives, but they've been locked in prison for decades, that's not freedom. And so I think it's very important for, number one, for us to understand what true freedom really is, but also for us to understand finances. And to understand that when it comes to financial freedom, sometimes we buy into what it is that we should desire, because financial freedom is something that a lot, if you live in America, like we're trained and we're influenced to desire financial freedom. We're also trained and influenced to desire the American dream. And it's like sometime when it comes to a dream, we don't realize that a dream is something that comes from within, not something that comes from without. And whoever came up with the American dream, I would guarantee a large sum of money that they were benefiting financially from that some kind of way. And they sold it to you and I and everybody else and all of the generations before us to get this, because this is the standard. And sometimes we don't realize that a true standard is something that you set for yourself. Nobody outside of you can set a standard, because when you expect something of yourself that's really high, it does not matter what it looks like on the outside. When you expect it from yourself, that's the only thing that matters. Just like opinions, the only opinion that counts is the one you ask for. And if you don't ask for an opinion, then it's irrelevant. Even though people might make it relevant, it's really irrelevant because it really does not matter. And when it comes to financial freedom, I really want to encourage you to get to a place. Now, I'm not saying not make money, because I want to encourage you to make as much money as humanly possible without compromising your integrity, without compromising your mental health, and without compromising the people that matter most to you. Because there are a lot of people that make a lot of money, but they don't get to spend their money or their time with the people that they love. That's not a good exchange. And so I want to encourage you to make as much money as you possibly can. And what's even more important than that, I want you to get to a level of freedom that's higher than anything you could ever experience. Because full transparency, I am not financially free. I am very close, but I am not financially free. But it's something that I am very intentional about working towards. Because sometimes when you don't even at least have awareness, you don't even know what to work on, what to work towards, and how do you even know when you even arrived at it. And so I'm very intentional about working towards financial freedom, because for me, the biggest challenge, I'm just being fully transparent here, the biggest challenge is the freedom part. It's not the financial part, it's the freedom part. And I will say it's a little challenging and difficult when you have children, because there are certain things that you can't control, especially when your children grow up to be an adults. And so when it comes to things that you want to protect as a father, I want to protect my children. I want to defend my children. And so that's something that I'm still working towards. But when I get to a place where I truly release them to my faith and understand and know that they're good without a shadow of a doubt, I will be financially free. And I want to encourage you, if you have kids or you don't have kids, just really be intentional about working towards that, because I can tell you, even though I'm not there, I'm really close. And as close as I am, like I can taste that finish line, and I can taste what it is on the other side, because it's not just the finish line, but it's actually a lifestyle on the other side. And it's like once you get to that place, like life is just so absolutely incredible. And I know that because of how close I am, and even though I'm not there yet. And so I just want to encourage you to focus on financial freedom from its proper perspective, and focus on freedom more than the finances, but not neglect finances in the process. Because sometimes people can go overboard and they can just fall off and just not make finances important because, hey, I'm focusing on freedom. Freedom is great, but if you don't have finances to accompany it, it's only a matter of time before you're going to be back in bondage. And I can tell you that from firsthand experience. But listen, if you've enjoyed any part of this video, I want you to just comment below freedom and let me know, and make it a declaration to yourself that this is where you are. And when you watch videos like this, sometimes people won't comment because they care so much about what people say. And if I comment, that must mean that I'm broke. And I want you to challenge yourself to make sure that that's not a level of freedom that you're holding yourself up from even somebody judging you that you don't even know. But I want you to comment freedom below as a declaration to yourself and to the world that this is not only what you are aspiring to experience, but it's something that you are definitely going to experience within a matter of time.